Hello everyone, I welcome you in the mentorship project. In this session, we are delighted to have with us Mr. Harpreet Singh Gupta. He is a Chevening scholar, and in this session we shall be discussing about how to get a Chevening scholarship. So, with great delight, I welcome Harpreet Singh Gupta in this session. Welcome Harpreet.
Thank you sir for having me.
Harpreet, first of all, tell us something about your journey. कि आपने कहाँ से स्टार्ट किया और आज आप एक चीवनिंग स्कॉलर हैं और आज आप प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं, तो आपने कहाँ से स्टार्ट किया और आज आप जहाँ पे एंड करें, तो आपकी जर्नी कैसे रही?
So this journey started sometime in 2011 with preparing for the common law admission test. With 2013 being a transformative point wherein I got into the National Law School, Bangalore. Then for about 5 years, those were life-changing years. Not only in terms of academics but also in terms of both personal and professional growth. Thereon, I shifted to Bombay, worked with Cyril Amarchand Mangaldas for about a year and a half. After that, I was with the filing chamber in Delhi for about a year and a half. Sometime in 2019, the thought of doing masters crossed my mind. With that, because it's an expensive process, not only in terms of the applications but in terms of tuition fee and also the living expenditure being a hefty amount.
Correct.
So I started looking for scholarships which would take care of the expenditure. And Chevening was top of that list, and there were a couple of more which probably we can discuss during this session. And thereon there was an application process for both Cambridge and Chevening that I followed and was fortunate to get into Cambridge and get the funding through Chevening.
Wonderful. So now we shall move forward with the Chevening scholarship. So we'll be addressing basically 3 questions. First is how to get that scholarship. Second is when to apply. And the most important one is what is Chevening scholarship. Chevening scholarship क्या है, ये दूसरी स्कॉलरशिप से अलग कैसे है? ये चीवनिंग स्कॉलरशिप आपको किस का एक्सेस दे रही है जो दूसरी स्कॉलरशिप से आपको नहीं दे पा रही है? तो सबसे पहले वी विल बी एड्रेसिंग हरप्रीत, द फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज व्हाट इज चीवनिंग स्कॉलरशिप?
So Chevening is a scholarship which provides full funding for your study in a master's course in the UK.
Great.
It is completely funded by FCDO, which is the British government's department, and it is structured in the sense that it takes care of literally everything. It takes care of your tuition fee, it takes care of your living expenditure through monthly stipends, and in addition there is something that you get once you arrive in the UK and something you get when you leave UK.
Brilliant. Alright. So now coming over to the next question is that, say we are addressing specifically a class of students or aspirants from law background. Alright. तो एक लॉ स्टूडेंट जो अभी परस्यू कर रहा है लॉ कोर्स या अभी मे बी क्लैट के बारे में सोच रहा है देने के लिए, और उसने अभी से डिसाइड कर लिया है कि उसको बाहर जाना है, मास्टर्स करना है, अच्छी जगह से मास्टर्स करना है, तो जब वो लॉ स्कूल में है, सो व्हाट आर दोस थिंग्स दैट ही शुड टेक केयर ऑफ? मतलब व्हाट आर दोस थिंग्स दैट ही नीड टू वर्क अपॉन इन ऑर्डर टू बी बेटर देन हिज कंटेंडर्स?
Right. So first of all, I must clarify at the outset that this scholarship requires you to have about 2,800 hours of work experience.
Alright, this is very important. 2,800 hours of work experience is a must for this scholarship,
which roughly translates to 2 years post-qualification experience.
Alright.
But there have been exceptional cases in which students have been able to get it right after their graduation. So how, with my interaction with some of them, how they fulfill this criteria is either through research assistantships or through internships, or in some exceptional cases if they've authored some books, that amount of time they've spent on these things can fill in for the work experience. Now coming to the requirements and what students can do during their law school term. So this scholarship, essay process and all the interview also is divided into broadly 4 parts. First being leadership, second being networking, third being your career goals, and fourth obviously being the universities that you choose. So I believe that there are a lot of activities that law students can do to make sure that once they graduate, they have better credentials than others. So some can be, for instance, they can participate in pro bono activities in terms of legal aid clinics. They can participate in organization of events which will probably reflect their leadership and also their networking sometimes, if they're able to connect to people beyond that particular event despite having met that person during that event. So these are some things that come to my mind. In addition, sports can obviously add to everything literally, not only leadership but also networking, because you form bonds which are beyond your law school and beyond your small limitations.
Correct. So there is, if there is one takeaway from the answer that Harpreet has given here, is anything which will reflect leadership, you should do that in your law school. Correct, Harpreet? Be it, and if that thing is in relation to something which is giving benefit to someone, for example legal aid में आप कुछ ऐसा कर रहे हैं जो आपके लिए नहीं है, आप दूसरों के लिए कुछ ऐसा कर रहे हैं, लीगल एड आप प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं, तो वो भी आपको हेल्प करेगा. तो फॉर एग्जांपल लीडरशिप स्किल्स आप देख सकते हैं, जैसे 2 एग्जांपल हरप्रीत ने दिए कि आप लीगल एड में जा सकते हैं, आप स्पोर्ट्स कर सकते हैं, आप कोई भी एक ऐसे, फॉर एग्जांपल इवन इफ समबडी इज अ कन्वीनर ऑफ सम कमिटी, आई थिंक दैट विल आल्सो शो लीडरशिप स्किल्स. तो आप ऐसी एक्टिविटीज करें जिससे कि लीडरशिप स्किल्स हो, मतलब कि सिर्फ आपकी जो लॉ स्कूल की लाइफ हो सिर्फ एकेडमिक बेस्ड नहीं होनी चाहिए. आपके जो रिज्यूमे है सीवी में, उसमें एकेडमिक से कुछ ज्यादा दिखना चाहिए, आपकी कुछ लीडरशिप दिखनी चाहिए. तो ये जितने भी लॉ स्टूडेंट्स, लॉ जो एस्पिरेंट्स हैं, वो ये जो देख रहे हैं, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि वन डायमेंशनल आपकी रिज्यूमे नहीं होना चाहिए, उसमें लीडरशिप स्किल दिखनी चाहिए. ऑलराइट, नाउ कमिंग ओवर टू द अनदर पार्ट, आई थिंक पार्टली यू हैव ऑलरेडी आंसर्ड दैट क्वेश्चन, कि एक बार आप ग्रेजुएट हो गए, अब जब आप ग्रेजुएट हुए तो ऑब्वियसली आप कोई ना कोई जॉब करेंगे. तो बहुत सारे लोग, कुछ लोग फर्म्स में जाते हैं, कुछ लोग कंपनीज ज्वाइन करते हैं, और कुछ लोग पब्लिक सेक्टर में जाते हैं, कुछ लोग लिटिगेशन करते हैं. तो सारी स्पीयर्स को अगर हम साथ में देखें तो कौन सा एक ऐसा स्पीयर है जिसमें थोड़ा सा बेनिफिट मिलता है अगर आप इंटरव्यू प्रोसेस, अगर आप वहां तक पहुंचते हैं तो?
So there is no specific requirement that the Chevening providers, the FCDO or the panel sets, but looking at the people who've gotten it in the past and looking at general trend, it appears that people who do work which benefits their home community or their area in terms of the work being public facing find it easier. Alright. So litigation, if it's towards public law, a lot of civil servants end up applying it, or even if people are in public sector jobs.
Alright.
Having said that, if you are in the private sector, you can always do work which is beyond your 9 to 5 or normal work hours, and that can sometimes aid you. For instance, nothing stops you from providing consultancy to people who need it.
Right.
Nothing stops you from organizing events,
Alright,
which are for the benefit of particular community which is disadvantaged.
alright, okay. So again, this is very important, that if there is anything that you are doing, it is having some sort of an implication on the public work, that is something which is going to help you. उसके बाद अब आ जाते हैं हम वर्क एक्सपीरियंस पे. तो जैसे आपने बताया कि क्योंकि जो इंटरव्यू प्रोसेस है उसके पहले आपको स्टेटमेंट ऑफ पर्पस और आपको एसेज भी लिखने होते हैं. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट जो आपका एक्सपीरियंस है वो भी मैटर करता है. तो व्हाट इज द राइट टाइम टू अप्लाई? फॉर एग्जांपल, व्हाई आई एम आस्किंग दिस, बिकॉज देयर आर सो मेनी स्टूडेंट्स हु आर हैविंग ह्यूज स्टूडेंट लोन्स. तो उनको ऐसा लगता होगा कि पहले हम लॉ फर्म में मतलब अच्छा कमा लें, उसके बाद फिर बाद में हम अपना स्टूडेंट लोन खत्म कर लें, उसके बाद हम अप्लाई करेंगे. तो दैट 28 आवर्स दैट यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट, मे बी उनके उस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम पे कंप्लीट नहीं हो पा रहे हैं या वो रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं कर पा रहे हैं. तो व्हेन इज द राइट टाइम टू अप्लाई?
So, I mean, in my opinion, it would obviously vary with individuals, but ideal time is around 2 to 3 years after your graduation, which is after you've worked for about a couple of years or slightly more. Why I say this? One, it's a requirement that comes from the organizers. In exceptional cases, people have been able to show experience throughout their time in law school, but sometimes applying too quickly may reflect lack of work experience. If their work experience is not enough, I would advise against it. But I mean, it boils down to an individual. If a person definitely has student loans or anything like that, and I think it may make more sense for them to pay that off and then
Correct.
also acquire some amount of work experience and then apply after 2-3 years.
All right. So it basically depends from individual to individual. एंड अगर आपको ऐसा लग रहा है कि आपका वर्क एक्सपीरियंस नहीं है 28 आवर्स का, तो बेटर है कि आप 1 साल और लें, उसके बाद आप अप्लाई करें. हरप्रीत, अगर किसी की एप्लीकेशन रिजेक्ट हो गई है तो ऐसा कुछ है इस स्कॉलरशिप का जो प्रोसेस होता है कि आप बाद में अप्लाई नहीं कर सकते हैं या उसका कोई implication?
I don't think there is anything like that. So I've seen people who've been reserved candidates. So there are X number of people who are selected, and there are a small bunch of people who are reserved. If somebody does not end up going, they take it up. Those candidates have reapplied. There have been people who've been completely eliminated at the start. They've ended up reapplying. I don't think there's a condition to not apply. Having said that, it obviously plays against you if you continuously keep applying after your graduation and then it might make sense to have a fully cooked up application, a completely proper work experience in terms of that 2800 hours, which translates to about 2 or 2.5 years, and then end up applying for it.
Alright. तो अब हम नेक्स्ट पार्ट पे आते हैं. अब हम जानना चाह रहे हैं कि आपने जो प्रोसेस बताए, जो 4 प्रोसेस जो इसके होते हैं, जो एप्लीकेशन प्रोसेस के बारे में हम जानना चाह रहे हैं कि एप्लीकेशन प्रोसेस स्टार्ट कहाँ पे होता है और खत्म कहाँ पे होता है और इसका ड्यूरेशन कितना होता है.
Right. So one important thing to keep in mind is that this starts before the normal college applications, at least for the UK, US, LLM people.
Okay.
It might not for other streams because it's applicable to everyone, but since we are addressing specifically to law students, it might be worthwhile to keep in mind that this starts sometime in September.
Okay.
And the first deadline, which is the essay submission, is first week of November, I think 2nd or 3rd November.
Alright.
So this is before the college applications. So first stage involves answering 4 essays, 500 words each, on 1 leadership, 2nd networking, 3rd career goals, and 4th 3 UK universities.
How many words?
500 words each.
500 words each. Alright.
And the idea behind these essays is you must be able to, through some examples in each of these essays, be able to reflect what the answer is looking for. For instance, in leadership, it might not be enough for me to say that I headed X committee.
Correct.
Or I organized Y event. You must be able to show what your role in that event or in that committee was, which reflects leadership skills.
Alright. Okay.
And leadership might not always mean occupying a particular position, and it might instead be better off if you can show it through examples such as when you were able to mobilize a part of the population or part of the community who was not aware of a right towards something for their benefit. Or for instance, if you are able to show consistent pro bono work with an entity or something of that sort, it might not just be occupying a particular position.
Alright. So now since 4 essays is the first step that one has to write, I wanted to know what is the format first of all? Does that has to specifically relate with one's own experiences or it can be abstract as well? मतलब क्या है वो 4 essays किस format में होने चाहिए?
So 4 essay जो है उनमें coming to first essay leadership में आपको 2 या 3 examples बताने होंगे
आपके खुद के
कि आपने कोई केस किया.
तो ये जरूरी नहीं है कि आप कॉलेज के बाद के बता रहे हो या कॉलेज के पहले के, कभी कभी ये हो सकता है.
अब while कभी के भी हो सकते हैं, it might be better to have at least 1 or 2 from your work experience and not focus too much on the college life. But it might change. For instance, if somebody is able to show work experience right after college, then all of its examples will relate to internships. Obviously. Having said that, I think it's always better to focus more on work and fill in wherever required with college.
So that is the first essay on leadership.
Second is on networking. Now, this is where a lot of people pose questions because leadership and networking are linked.
Correct.
So when you're doing something which shows your leadership skills, that might also reflect your networking skills.
True.
And vice versa. So the simplest of approaches that somebody had advised me was just have 6 examples and have 3 for one and 3 for other. I mean, networking might be more in terms of forming connections with people and how that relationship was mutually beneficial.
So can you give us an example कि आपने कौन सा networking में use किया जो कि आपको ऐसा लगा which was something which was very important and helped you to get through?
Right. So one of the examples that I can take is when I was a convener of a particular committee in college, I ended up interacting with a few faculty for whom I organized credit courses in National Law School of Bangalore. How I showed mutually beneficial relationship is I could benefit from their experience while I was applying for the masters or even for this scholarship if some of them were past Chevening scholars.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So this is how I think there's an element of mutual benefit or how they benefited from your relationship and how you benefited from theirs.
Wonderful, wonderful piece of information. अगर आप नेटवर्किंग के ऊपर ऐसे लिख रहे हैं तो ये ध्यान रखें कि वो वन साइडेड नहीं होना चाहिए. म्यूचुअल का मतलब कि आपने नेटवर्किंग तो बनाई, बट ऐसी नेटवर्किंग का कोई एग्जांपल देने का कोई फायदा नहीं है जिसमें कि सिर्फ आपको ही बेनिफिट हो रहा हो, कि मतलब सिर्फ आप ही उससे सामने वाले को क्या बेनिफिट हो रहा है आपकी नेटवर्किंग से, ये आपको बताना बहुत जरूरी है. ऑलराइट, नाउ कमिंग ओवर टू द थर्ड एसे.
Right. Just before we come to the third essay, while giving these examples, this you can see the Chevening website. They say that the answers should be in the STAR approach, especially the examples, which is situation, task, action, and result. So, what was the situation before you in that example? What did you do? And what is the impact that that particular action of yours had? So, this is something that people can keep in mind. Or coming to the third essay, which is about career goals. इसमें essay को usually लोग दो भागों में divide करते हैं, एक short term और एक long term goals. Some people end up dividing into 3 parts. It's always better to have some amount of space also because the answer is only 500 words. So I'd say short term goals and long term goals. One thing that to keep in mind is one of the conditions for the scholarship is that you have to return to your home country for 2 years after your masters. So in the short term goals, your goals must identify something which you are doing in your home jurisdiction. You probably cannot say that after your scholarship you are going to work in the UK.
Right. This is very, very important, and a lot of people are having this doubt as well कि हम स्कॉलरशिप लेंगे, हम बाहर जाएंगे और फिर बाद में हम वहीं पे सेटल हो जाएंगे, हमें वापस आने की जरूरत नहीं है. तो दिस इज वन वेरी रेलेवेंट पीस ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन गिवन बाय हरप्रीत कि जब शॉर्ट टर्म गोल आप बता रहे हैं तो एक कंडीशन ही है ये स्कॉलरशिप में कि आपको वापस आना है. तो आपको कोई एक ऐसा गोल आइडेंटिफाई करके पहले से रखना है जिससे आपका मतलब कोई कोरिलेशन निकलेगी. आप जो मास्टर्स करने के लिए वहां पे जा रहे हैं और जब आप यहाँ पे आ रहे हैं तो आप कैसे कंट्रीब्यूट कर पा रहे हैं शॉर्ट टर्म गोल्स.
वापस आपको 2 साल के लिए आना है, उसके बाद आप
वापस जा सकते,
कभी भी जा सकते.
ऑलराइट.
और दूसरी चीज है इसमें कि I think the answer must be aligned with what FCDO, which is the UK government's department, is doing in India. So उनके एक priority areas हैं, वो इंडिया पे किसी activities पे काम कर रहे हैं. For instance, education in say tribal areas or education in backward areas. So if you can show how your goals and their activities or priority areas align in terms of your goals and their areas, it is always beneficial.
Wonderful.
The other thing is you must have clarity. Obviously, you might not be able to reflect on your long-term goals that much. They can be broad, but the short-term goals at least must be very specific and identified
properly. All right. Now coming over to the fourth essay, which is the last one as well.
Correct. So the fourth one is basically identification of 3 courses and 3 universities or 2 universities, 3 different courses. Now you can't apply to courses which don't have any link because that will show incoherence. So if you're doing an LLM at Cambridge, a BCL at Oxford is obviously something which is linked. You can even go for instance, Masters of Corporate Law in Cambridge. But if you're doing a completely say development studies, you will have to really explain how in one college you're applying for X degree and in another it's a completely different degree. And so how you can do it is, so even in the SOPs for colleges, you're supposed to know what are the courses that you plan to apply for, what are the committees or what are the organizations within that university that you're planning to work with. Same is the case here. You must identify 3 courses. In that particular course, for instance, in the LLM at Cambridge, there are about 40 courses. and you choose 4. So you must identify some amount of courses that you are planning to take and some professors you are planning to work with, etc. So you must have a reason to choose the university and to choose the course.
Alright. कंसिस्टेंसी होनी चाहिए, इनकोहेरेंस अगर है तो कोई किसी टाइप का कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन नहीं होना चाहिए, इनकोहेरेंस नहीं होना चाहिए. इसका मतलब ये है कि आपका इंटेंशन बहुत क्लियर मतलब दिखना चाहिए. आपका ये जो पेपर है, 4th पेपर है, कि आपका कंसिस्टेंसी यूनिफॉर्मिटी होनी चाहिए. Again, so after these 4 papers, once you have submitted these 4 papers, now what is the next step?
Correct. So you submit these 4 essays, 500 words each, in November first week. Then if you are shortlisted, you are notified in February. If you don't make it, you are again notified in February. If you are shortlisted, then you have to submit 2 letters of recommendations. One professional letter of recommendation is mandatory.
Okay.
And you might choose to submit both professional or one professional and one academic LOR.
Okay.
These LORs, so just delving into what they must entail is, again, they must be able to attest on those 4 things of yours.
Okay.
Which is that at your professional work, maybe your supervisor at work can testify as to how you reflected leadership skills, for instance. Similarly, how were you at networking, and must also be able to say something about your career goals, in the sense that in his interactions with you, you've been able to identify X as your career goal and you're on the right path.
Okay. Alright. So once you are shortlisted, once you have submitted all these applications and all these essays in November, so somewhere in Feb you'll be getting to know about this. और उसके बाद आपको 2 recommendation, you have to submit 2 recommendations, and 1 professional recommendation is mandatory. Alright. So how crucial are these recommendations? मतलब कितना ज़्यादा रोल ये play करते हैं आपके selection में?
So you wouldn't get to know. You submit the LORs and then you're called for the interview.
Alright.
So, but I would think that these are extremely important, especially because the interviews are about 30-35 minutes. So your LORs basically are a testament to your previous work.
Alright.
So they really aid you for the interview process.
Okay.
And if I may just explain as to what happens after the LOR, you submit the LORs, you are sometime in March notified about the interviews, which happen either in March or April. The interviews are mostly on your 4 essays and maybe a few general questions, but they are not technical interviews.
They are not technical.
Okay. Because the panel is chevening people who are working in India or British High Commission people who are working in India. So they are not from particular streams, because this is a scholarship which is available to all streams. You might not have law people sitting in your interview.
Right.
So it's generally about 30-35 minutes, cross-questioning on your 4
How many people are there?
In my panel there were 3. Mostly there are 3 people.
Okay. Alright. So somebody from the home country is also there in the panel.
Right. Somebody from your own country mostly is there. So there were 2 people from my own country. Somebody from the UK who was working in the British High Commission office in Bombay was there. So there were 3 people.
Alright. So what kind of questions were asked in the interview? आपके रिज्यूमे के ऊपर लीडरशिप, क्योंकि 4 आइडेंटिफायर्स चीवनिंग ने पहले ही बता दिए हैं लीडरशिप के बारे में, नेटवर्किंग के बारे में, तो आपके क्वेश्चंस उन्हीं के ऊपर इवॉल्व हुए या कोई एक पर्टिकुलर इशू था जिसके ऊपर आपसे पूछा? फॉर एग्जांपल, यू सिंस यू हैव ऑलरेडी वर्कड इन CAM and you have already worked with a lawyer in Supreme Court, तो आपको क्या एक इशू के ऊपर पूछा? सब्जेक्ट मैटर क्या थे वो क्वेश्चंस के?
So the questions mostly revolve around the essays, with a few general questions. For instance, if there is a current happening in your field, that might be asked, but mostly are around your, for instance, they can pick up on one example of yours and ask you for your role in.
Basically essay based questions there.
Correct. So because the essays are 500 words, you must be able to elaborate on your examples that you've given in about 150-200 words in detail.
Okay. Alright. So once the interview process is over, then final the selection list would be there.
Correct.
These
so
are the X number of
after the interview, you have to just submit a conditional offer by, I think, July 15th from a university. Once you do that, sometime in July itself, you are notified about the result.
Alright. अब यहाँ पे ये चीज समझना बहुत ज्यादा जरूरी है कि जब आप स्कॉलरशिप के लिए अप्लाई करते हैं तो स्कॉलरशिप का मतलब ये नहीं होता है कि आपको एक कॉलेज में ऑलरेडी एडमिशन मिल गया है, वो टिकट नहीं होता है उस कॉलेज का। आपको वो पर्टिकुलर कॉलेज, फॉर एग्जांपल कैम्ब्रिज, ऑक्सफोर्ड, आपको वहां पे एडमिशन सिक्योर करना पड़ेगा। Right.
Correct. So these are two parallel and different processes.
Yes.
The process that we discussed was about the scholarship.
Correct.
And similarly for most UK LLMs, the process starts sometime in November, December, and it goes on. Maybe for Oxford, it goes on till January. So you submit your SOPs there and letters of recommendations there, and that is a parallel and different process.
All right. Okay. So you have to secure admission in the college. When it comes to UK, you are saying when it comes to Chevening, this is the process which is applicable to you.
Correct. You have to separately secure admission in one of the UK,
which is altogether a different process.
Correct.
वो उस पर्टिकुलर कॉलेज का प्रोसेस होगा, वो डिटरमाइन करेंगे कि आपका सिलेक्शन प्रोसेस कैसा है। ऑलराइट, so now since Harpreet has already told us and given us great insights about how to secure the Chevening scholarship, अब हम जानना चाहेंगे कि आपका कैम्ब्रिज में एक्सपीरियंस कैसा रहा? How was your experience in Cambridge?
So my experience was wonderful in both in terms of the courses that I chose. I chose a wide variety of courses. We have to choose 4 courses. One was a dissertation course and 3 were examination courses. There were brilliant professors in terms of people. For instance, I took international commercial litigation.
Wonderful.
In that, Professor Richard Fentiman was an authority. His book was something I referred to even in NLS. So professors were brilliant. The examination is only at the end, and you can choose either to take 1 dissertation and 3 exams, or you can take 4 exams.
4 exams.
In addition, I played cricket with the Cambridge Cricket Club.
Oh, wonderful.
I researched for the Pro Bono Club.
Okay.
So, and apart from that, there were a lot of other activities which were happening. So my year was fun-filled, but also filled with a lot of work throughout.
All right. So there is another myth which has been busted here कि अगर आप ऐसी कोई स्कॉलरशिप लेके कोई ऐसे कॉलेज में जा रहे हैं तो जनरली परसेप्शन ये होता है कि सिर्फ आपको पढ़ाई डिसर्टेशन ये करना है। बट हरप्रीत इज अ लिविंग टेस्टामेंट। क्रिकेट खेल के आए हैं हरप्रीत वहाँ पे और काफी अच्छा किया है। एंड आई हैव प्लेड क्रिकेट विद हरप्रीत, सो आई नो फॉर अ फैक्ट कि हमारे देश का नाम रोशन करके आए होंगे वहाँ पे। सो हरप्रीत, फ्रॉम चीवनिंग ऐसी कौन सी स्कॉलरशिप्स हैं जो स्टूडेंट्स एस्पायर कर रहे हैं यूके में पढ़ने के लिए, वो अप्लाई कर सकते हैं?
So from my understanding, there are 3-4. So one is Chevening, the other is INLAC scholarship, there is Commonwealth, there is Commonwealth Shared, there is, for Cambridge specifically, there is Pratibha M. Singh scholarship, which is not complete, but it mostly ends up giving you tuition fee. There is Felix scholarship, which is for Oxford or SOAS, and I think these are the full scholarships. Apart from that, there are a few which are either loan scholarships or they give you partial amount. There is Tata Trust, there is Mahindra, and there are a couple of more. So I think these are all scholarships.
All right. So thank you so much, Harpreet. It was such an insightful session, and I know this for a fact that जितने भी हमारे viewers हैं, जितने भी aspirants हैं, students हैं, उनको ये session 100% it is going to help them. And thank you so much for your time, because इस point of time पे there are now the problem is not with the access to information, but there is so much of information available that you are not able to identify which is the authentic information. क्योंकि हरप्रीत अभी जस्ट मतलब आप आई थिंक 1-2 महीने पहले ही इंडिया में आए हैं, पिछले साल ही चीवनिंग स्कॉलरशिप मिली है। सो दिस इज द मोस्ट ऑथेंटिक पीस ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन दैट यू कैन गेट व्हेन इट कम्स टू चीवनिंग स्कॉलरशिप। सो ऑन बिहाफ ऑफ द होल टीम ऑफ द मेंटोरशिप प्रोजेक्ट, आई थैंक यू सो मच फॉर गिविंग अस योर वैल्यूएबल टाइम, एंड आई विश कि आगे भी अगर हमको आपकी जरूरत होगी तो आप बिल्कुल हमको टाइम देंगे।
Thank you so much, sir. हमेशा जब भी जरूरत पड़े मैं तो हमेशा available हूँ. And the other thing is, with terms of authenticity of information, I think somehow people should refer to, for instance, for Chevening, their website is the best source of information. Correct. Similarly, for college applications, I think Cambridge, Oxford or LSE or whichever college a person is applying to, उनका जो website है वो सबसे बढ़िया source है.
Correct. So again, this last piece of advice, and which is going to be the most relevant one for you. कोई भी आप चैनल फॉलो, इनफैक्ट फॉर आवर चैनल ऑल्सो, इवन इफ यू आर फॉलोइंग दिस चैनल, डू फॉलो इट अप with the official website of that college, or in this instance scholarship. All right, so again, on behalf of the whole mentorship project team, I thank you so much.